Welcome to a very special edition of Somewhere in Vegas Rewind. I'm Mark the Q. I am your host. Sad news Monday that we lost a really huge country legend in Charlie Daniels, the man known for his big number one hit, "Devil Went Down to Georgia," as well as my favorite country songs, "Drinking My Baby Goodbye," "Died of a Stroke." It was either July 4th or July 5th, right around there. And the outpouring obviously has been, huge across all social media platforms for his passing. Really one of the most down-to-earth, one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting him in person, but I've had the pleasure of interviewing him several times on this podcast, and I wanted to share one I did with him, I think about 2008, 2009. This is the second time I've interviewed Charlie. This was right after he got accepted to be part of the Grand Ole Opry. It was a thing that he was wanting all of his life, and he finally got that moment to be able to be a part of the Opry. And we talk a lot about Volunteer Jam, which he was a part of for very many, many years as well. And we talk a little bit about his career as well. So please enjoy this look back at Charlie Daniels from 2008, 2009. You go in a little bit more insight into who Charlie is as a person. Please enjoy this interview that we did here on Somewhere in Vegas, and we'll be back right after the break to let you know what's going on in the next couple of weeks.
Hello, Charlie.
Yes.
Hey, Charlie. Welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you. Good to talk to you.
Yeah. So Volunteer Jam is celebrating its 31st anniversary. Do you ever think that Volunteer Jam would last this long?
Well, it was done for a one-time deal, actually. We had no idea, of course, it would ever go past the one time until we got in the building and actually started doing it. It just kind of took on a life of its own. It was pretty obvious that we needed to, do this. So we started doing it in Nashville. It started in 1974 and did it up into the 80s every year, and it got to be a little bit of it was always a lot of work, and it got a little bit too much for us. So we stopped doing it every year, and we decided to take it on the road, and this is I don't know which incarnation this is, quite a few, several anyway. And, of course, this is 38 Special and Shooter Jennings and CDP. So it's a fun show.
And you seem to have a lot of Southern rockers on there. Do you have any what does it mean to have Southern rockers on your show?
Well, it means a compatible show. It means a show that, it's not going to be the kind of show where half the audience don't like one of the acts or two of the acts or something like that. The people that come to see us are going to like Shooter Jennings and 38. People come to see 38 are going to like the other two acts. The other people who come to see, 38 is going to like the other two acts. So, I mean, it's a show from beginning to end, and then, of course, we end the night up with a pretty nice jam.
And you had a kind of historical concert in '77 when Leonard Skinner had reunited on stage. What was that like? It seemed like it was probably one of the most historic moments in music history when it comes to
it was incredible. I mean, it was one of those things, just one of those happenings that they did an instrumental version of Freebird and put Ronnie's hat on one of the empty microphones, and it was a pretty neat thing, really. It was a lot of moments, Volunteer Jam moments that remembered through the years. That's one of them.
And you're celebrating this summer. Last time we talked to you, said that you were celebrating, I think, your 50th anniversary in the music business.
Yeah,
summer.
I am. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, sometime in the month of June, we'll make the full cycle. I started in 1958, fully professional, and of course, 2008 is a complete 50-year cycle. I think it's sometime in June I started.
And we're also talking about you joining the Grand Ole Opry. You were just about to be inducted, I think, when you talked last time, and now you are inducted. What was the ceremony like?
Well, it was great. It was wonderful. It was the culmination of a lifelong dream of mine, because I've listened to Opry all my life, or from the earliest remembrances, and to become, and we had played on it many times, but to become a full-fledged member, to go in the Opry history book alongside of so many great country music artists. It means an awful lot.
Who was all there, and who inducted you?
Marty Stewart and Connie Smith.
What did it mean to have like Marty Stewart and Connie Smith to induct you in there? What was it? Well,
it's kind of an emotional moment for me, and I think it was for Marty too. I mean, inducting somebody that he knows that loves the Grand Ole Opry, the way that he does. It was a neat thing. I mean, it was just it was a wonderful, wonderful evening.
And what's it? So I mean, it's you've got so many accomplishments over the past year. You actually were a keynote speaker, and you gave Gretchen Wilson her GED. What was it like to I guess it was a surprise that you gave Gretchen her GED.
No, it was no surprise. She asked me to do it.
She asked you to do it? Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
She asked me to do it, so I went down, and it was in my area close to my home, and I went down. I'm so proud of her for doing that, for getting her GED at this time in her life.
And what do you think is your influence of all of these younger artists like Gretchen and Big and Rich?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to speak about it in that way. They'd be more apt to be able to say than I would, because I don't. It's hard for me to sit here and say, well, I had influence on people. It just if I have, I'm happy about it, but it'd be hard for me to sit here and say something. That'd be kind of like bragging in a way.
And I think we were talking last time around about the whole idea of how country has kind of changed over the years, and currently it doesn't seem like it's as outlaw as it was back in the day. And can you tell us a little bit about how hard it is right now to kind of break into the country music business?
Oh, it's never been easy. There's no yellow brick road. There's no certain way you go. You just got to get in the flow and start swimming, and how bad you want it, how hard you're willing to work for it, the amount of talent that you've got, the amount of sweat equity you're willing to put into it, the amount of times you're willing to be rejected and get back up, and the amount of what it all comes down to is if you get up one more time and you're knocked down, you're a winner. But it's tough. It's a tough road to hoe, and I think the industry is kind of I think the whole music industry kind of in flux right now due to technology, the downloading capabilities, and all of this particular stuff. So I think we'll see a lot shake out here in the way business is done in the next 5-6 years. I think that the technology of the download music has just totally changed everything. I mean, as far as the way people acquire the music they listen to, and I think we got some more changes still to come. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, we have a caller, 630. Are you there? 630? Oh, we lost him. Charlie, what's it like being on the road all these years? It seems like you do concerts every year, and does it get stressful as much as it gets fun?
Well, I mean, there's times that it can get stressful if something goes wrong, but that's part of rolling with the punches. Things go wrong in everything. You make mistakes in everything. You make mistakes in your profession. You make mistakes in that's what's just such a big surprise to me about people talking about mistakes being made in the war in Iraq. There's been mistakes made in every war we've ever fought. You make mistakes in everything, but you got to get up, and if you learn from a mistake, it has been profitable. If you don't, then it is not profitable. You're going to make it again. So you just kind of roll with the flow, roll with the punches. When you get knocked down, get up and go at it again.
I had a question the other day from a friend of mine asking about a song that you did called Mississippi Queen. You did a version of Mississippi Queen. Can you explain a little bit about that?
We never did a version of Mississippi Queen.
You never? Okay. Well, somebody was asking me about that. Okay, we got it.
That was Mountain with Leslie West.
Mountain, yeah.
Now, we did a song called Roll Mississippi, but it was not Mississippi Queen.
Okay.
It might have been that one.
Okay. 281, are you there?
Yeah, this is Lisa, Angel Lisa. I just wanted to say that I spoke to Charlie Daniels today, so just say something to me, okay?
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm down here in Texas. I think I used to watch you over there at Gillies.
Well, bless your heart. We appreciate it. And you come see us again, okay?
I will. Well, thank you for talking to me.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
And what's it like having younger fans? It seems like you have both older and fans. It's kind of spanned the generations.
Well, we've always had, our fans have always been all over the board because some of the songs that we do reach down into the grammar school demographic and before, kindergarten demographic. Little tiny kids like Devil Went Down to Georgia. And we got songs like Legend of Woolly Swamp and story kind of songs that are pretty graphic that little kids can get into. And then we get into some, how deep you want to go, you want to get into Saddle Tramp and Birmingham Blues and Florida Road and all the stuff where the man stretches out on and, we kind of get off in a little different dimension from some of the other stuff, and we got everything in between. So we have, our fans are all over the board, our demographics are all over the board, and they basically always have been.
And let's see here. And what's it like? What's it like to actually? You've had several other accomplishments off stage as well. You currently were honored by Cumberland University.
Yes, we've received an award. It's a university in the town I live close to. I was asked to. We were given and my wife and myself were given. It was a kind of citizenship award, basically.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah. And you seem to be very outspoken about politicals as well. It's very rare for a country artist to talk a lot about the war and have something to say about it. Can you tell me, has that always been kind of a theme for you to be able to talk straight about political issues?
Well, basically, I just express my opinion, whatever my opinion happens to be. I don't claim to be an authority, or I do. I got a place at my website that I do 2 columns per week that are opinion columns. They're the world from my point of view. Sometimes they're humorous, sometimes they're political, sometimes they're about serious things, sometimes they're about frivolous things, but it's just my opinion, and I just kind of sit down and write. And I don't have a mailing list. I don't mail it to anybody. The only place you can get it is either go to my website or somebody else sends it to you. So I don't, I don't feel that way that I'm putting this upon anybody that don't want to get it. But I've always been pretty opinionated, actually. I wish everybody would. I wish everybody would express their opinion, starting in the voting booth and moving on from there.
If there was any piece of advice that you would give a young artist, a young country artist or a young rock artist to go into this business, what would it be?
First, make sure that absolutely positive that that's what you want to do, that you want to go and take the bumps and the bruises, the disappointments, the rejections, along with, you see, a lot of people get in this business because they see it as glamorous, and it is. The part that they see of it is glamorous, and it should be. The on-stage part, the television part, all of that. But beneath that facade, which is actually not the facade, that's what the business is. It's not really but it's just the outside coating of a very deep business that you've got to. If you don't have determination, if you don't say, well, I'm here. I'm going to make it if I have to work twice as hard as anybody ever has. And every time you turn around, you're going to see me coming. And no matter how many times you knock me down, I'm going to get back up. If this record don't make it, I'm going to make another one. If if a band member quits, I'm going to hire another one. I'm going to be there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give 110% every time I walk on stage, every time I walk in a recording studio. And, I will not be discouraged. I will not stop until I achieve what I want. If you got that kind of fire in your belly, then go for it. If you don't, then stay home. There's nothing wrong with sating your music appetite, with satisfying, I should say, in case anybody understands the word I said. SATED was what I said. Satisfying your musical appetite by playing in the Holiday Inn Lounge on Friday and Saturday night and playing New Year's Eve. Everybody's not cut out for a musical career. Even some very, very fine musicians